and gentlemen, Jennifer Hudson.
Hello. Hi. That's a nice introduction. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for your welcome. I'm sure you're as excited as I am to be here with the opportunity to hear from Jennifer Hudson. Thank you. So, we're all so aware of your amazing success as an actress and as a singer. Can you tell us what inspired you to go into acting?
Actually, it was my mother. She would always tell me everything that I could do. Like she used to say, Jenny, I think you can draw. And I said, oh, whatever, mother. And then all of a sudden, I started to draw and I could. And then she said, you know what, I think you could be an actress. And I didn't believe it, and I said, I doubt it. And then I ended up winning an Academy Award on my first film, and I was like, maybe I should hold on to this. And I actually ended up being more known for acting before singing, which is my first love.
Absolutely. Yeah. Would you encourage others to go into acting?
If that's what they choose to do, yes. I think it's a great way to express yourself. Obviously, it's a good career path, but it's something, I feel as though this type of industry, if you don't love it, you would never be able to do it. So it has to be something that you are passionate about and truly love in order to be able to exist in it and to have a lasting career in it.
And you talk about that love and inspiration. Who are your inspirations? Who's inspired you?
Oh, that's a broad question. Well, personally, I would say all the women in my family are my biggest inspiration. Musically, obviously, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Barbra Streisand. I could go on and on. Film-wise, I don't know who to pick. I think I don't know. But music is like the base for me for everything. So I guess I have to stick with those musical artists.
Fantastic. We know that you've got a real commitment to philanthropy as a person. Can you tell us what drove you to start the Julienne Deacon Gift Foundation?
Wow. Well, it started off in honor of my late family, my mother, my brother, and my nephew, Julienne. And my mother used to always tell me, what I love most about you, Jenny, is no matter how negative things may be, you always seem to find the positive. And I was like, wow, where do I even start to find a positive in this? And so I actually took, I don't know, a few dollars out of my pocket. And I went to my church home with my sister, and we started the Julienne Deacon Gift Foundation. At the time, I don't even think we realized what we were building and creating. But again, I always go back to my mother. She used to always say, without family, you have nothing. You have to take care of home first. And so we started with our entire family, and we started to give out our church and give to kids, give to the children of our community, which started the Julienne Deacon Gift Foundation. And it's going on in, I want to say, 8th year now. Wow. Yeah. But it was centered around the children because my nephew was only 7 years old. And so if we couldn't give to him, I'm like, well, why not give to the children in our city and take care of home first, which is Chicago for me.
That's a fantastic focus on giving and advocating. Do you see that happening in the wider Hollywood community?
I think so. I think, for those whose heart is close to, yes. I would like to see more. I don't think there's ever enough we can do for our children. But I definitely see like it's snowballing and more people becoming aware, wanting to help, wanting to make a difference. And again, the more the merrier. So I do see that it is snowballing, yeah.
And you see you've got a huge following from all generations here, but you have a particular following amongst youth. Yeah. And how important is that for you?
Well, it's extremely important because the children are our future, you know what I mean? And anytime I feel like that's what made the difference to me growing up in high school is having someone come in, whether, if it was a local celebrity or if it was just somebody to look up to from the community. It's like, if they can achieve it, then I can do it. And it may have not mattered to all the kids, but it tapped into the right ones, or someone will be touching and make a difference, and it caused me to dream bigger or realize that, wow, if they're here, then that means I can do it too. And I can become somebody, which is why it is extremely important to me to this day to go back to the schools or to help the children or to let them see, like I tell the kids in my community, it's more to life than the block you live on, And then I let them know, like, I was a little black girl sitting on the church steps. So if I can do it, if I can be here, then you can do it too, So that's why that's important to me.
Fantastic. That's really inspiring. As you know, we're here, all gathered together in Dubai for this weekend to focus on education and to focus on the future. We're asking ourselves, how do we prepare young people for the future? And so I'd love to hear about your own education. Tell me about your experience at school, your education. Did you get the education that you feel you should have had? And did you have a great teacher that inspired you?
Wow. Well, first of all, that feels like so long ago at this point. But, oh my God, that's a tough question. I don't know. I feel like I've learned a lot, since school. I feel like there's always a lot to learn. And I feel like most lessons you get through life. And I feel as though the more we can teach outside of just what's in the books, but what goes on in life and instill it in our children to prepare them for life could be more productive and helpful. Coming out of the community I come from, I can't fully say that as far as education, it fully prepared me, at least definitely not for the life that I live at this point, because who really knows what you're gonna go into? But later in life, you could study one profession or, major in school is what we called it, but then life takes its turns. So the more I feel as though we can teach life lessons, like incorporated with education, the more we can be prepared or prepare our children for the future, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And it's a big question, isn't it? What should the young people of today, of tomorrow, be able to do? What skills should they be getting to be successful in today's world? What do you think about that from your own perspective?
Well, again, I still have to go back to like life skills, more so than anything, because I feel as though I can only speak from my experience. I feel like that's what's led me the most. I know plenty of people that are book smart that may not have a direction or a path. But again, if we can combine the two of, yes, having that background of an education of the basics or whatever those things may entail, but also having somehow, what am I trying to say, like incorporating life things along with the educational things. Because I feel as though that's life and that's what prepares you for it. Along with having the knowledge of what comes out of the books, because not everyone can depend on just the education, but you have to have common sense as well. It's very important to me. Yeah.
And what do you hope we might see in the world of 2030? And are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future?
In 20 who?
In 2030.
Oh, Lord. Wow.
That's our big question for this weekend.
2030. That's broad. In what way do you mean?
So we've been looking at so many things that could change about the world. And you've mentioned a lot about the life skills that people might need. Yeah. What do you think the world will look like in 2030?
I remember my grandmother used to say, in the year 2000, it's going to be this and it's going to be that. And back then, we never thought we would get there. It's like, oh, that's so far away. Why is she talking about year 2000? Now it's 2018. And we look around and it's like, is this anything like what my grandmother used to say it would be like? Or we imagine it to be? I don't think we can imagine what 2013 is going to be. I guess that's what you're asking, but I think it's up to us to determine what it's going to be. What would I like it to be? I don't think I know the answer to that question, if I can be honest. I never thought that far. But I hope to be there. I hope to be there. I'm very optimistic. Especially in the day and age of technology and how quickly it changes. Who can really say?
Yes. Yeah. Later on tonight, we're going to be celebrating the Global Teacher Prize and selecting a winner from our top 10.
Wow.
It's a real celebration of teachers who have inspired so many people to achieve amazing things. Is there a special teacher that you remember from your school days?
Oh, yes. Richard Nunley was my music teacher.
He's going to be happy.
You think he'd be happy? Mr. Nunley, you hear me? You see me? He made such a big impact on me in school. The fact that just showing that you care, you know, that, and that's what our foundation is about, showing kids in Chicago, you know, where we're from, negativity is only acknowledged, but acknowledging the positive and instilling that in the children. And that's what Mr. Nunley did with myself and a few of my class, the choirs and all of those things. It helped prepare me for my life now, you know. And he put me in piano lessons and invested in me in that way. He, you know, we rehearsed overtime. And so now I'm like, oh, I did that in high school, so I can apply that to now, because it helped prepare me for my future. But it was more so, not even exactly what he was doing, but the fact that he cared enough. And to this day, I still remember, I was just there at his high school, helped preparing his choir to go to choral competition, because I'm like, all I see is myself and these kids. So I want to help them be able to get to competition, or I want to stop by the school and encourage them, or just to listen to them sing, just to say, yep, Jennifer Hudson cares. I'm here because I was once you, so therefore you can be me. And Richard Nunley, I have to say Richard Nunley.
Fantastic, that's great to hear. I'm going to open the floor to questions now. I'll probably take 2 or 3 at once. Do we have some microphones going around? So gentleman over here for a start, and then the lady at the back there, and then the hand there. We'll take those 3.
Hi.
Hey. Hi, Ms. Hudson. So I'm from Chicago too.
Oh, okay.
And my aunt used to work for you, to share in the show.
Really?
Yeah, that's my auntie.
She did my hair for Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I used to, when she would go do your hair, me and my mom, we would be like waiting on her to come back, and she would always tell us about like what you were doing, like where you were and stuff like
Wow.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So pretty much, and you inspired me a lot in my music and things that I do as well in teaching. But I remember when I was younger, she would always tell us about how driven you were, and she would like let us hear some of the EPs that you were working on. There's like this one song called Destiny that you did. That I like still remember, and I sing it to my brother. But she never told us exactly what it was that kept you driven. And I would like to know, especially like a lot of us, you know, who are, you know, educators. Me, I'm still in college, but I will be an educator. Like, what is that thing that keeps you going, that kept you going, you know, through the hardest times, and like even when you were like probably doubting yourself?
Wow.
Okay. Do you want to take that one, and then we'll move around, otherwise we'll get lost.
Let me see if I can answer that. Well, I always find this difficult to answer, but I hope y'all understand it. But I'm driven by passion. And I don't care what you do. If you're passionate about what you do, then I'm interested in what you do. And just to see other people motivated and inspired by what they do, that inspires me. And fortunately for the field of work I'm in, everybody is a specialist in what they do. So if it's hair, you love hair, well, I love it too. And because I see you're so into that, it makes me even more passionate about my own craft. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope so.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The lady over here, and then we'll move over to the other side.
Ms. Hudson, I am so excited to actually finally get to see you.
Thank you.
My name is Melinda Wilson, and I teach in Chicago Public Schools on the Southwest side.
Wow.
So
Chicago's in the house.
it's such an honor for me to be here through the Varkey Foundation, and also to actually get to say hello to you. But there's a group of students in my school that have always been your supporters as well as me. I'm a dance teacher, and I choreograph all the time to your music. Mm-hmm. So if you wouldn't mind, just a shout out to my kids would mean so much
right
to
here,
them.
this camera?
Yeah, this
okay,
camera
now
right
what
here.
do I
Is that
dress
okay?
them as?
They're the Curie Dance Department, Curie High School.
Curie?
Yeah.
Hey, Curie High School, it's me, Jennifer, south side of Chicago from Denver. I know all of those high schools.
Fantastic.
I would
Okay.
love to see you guys dance. Okay.
Yeah,
see, I get
thank
excited
you.
about stuff
Fantastic.
like
I'm about you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So you don't have to be from Chicago to ask a question. Do we have any more? Okay, so the lady at the back there. Yeah, you. Yes, you.
Hey, J Hud.
Hi.
So massive fan from
Thank you.
London, not from Chicago, unfortunately. And I carpool karaoke to your songs all the time. I think I sound like you don't at
I
all.
want to hear it.
No, we want to hear you. The biggest thing is, so I'm actually an investor that invests primarily in Africa and encouraging investments into Africa within education, healthcare, mining, power. And, you know, we come across so many inspirational people like yourself. And a lot of young people say, oh, you're so lucky you get to meet so-and-so. And they always say, well, what do they teach you? And I'd love to know one piece of advice. If I had to turn around and say to her, okay, listen, by the way, I got to tell J Hud that I think she's amazing. She also told me that this is what you need to do in order to basically just keep going and to inspire. So I'd just love to hear, I wouldn't give you 3, but just one nugget that we can all take away from you today. No pressure.
You said a lot. First of all, I'm like, what is she asking me? Well, no matter what your dreams and your goals are, I always say if you keep at it, it has no choice but to give in. I don't care what it is. Sometimes, you know, we always get discouraged. And if people discourage your dreams, it's only because they don't dream as big as you do. So just remember why you do what you do. And long as you remember that, you know, keep going. Hopefully that helps. So,
Fantastic. Another question. This gentleman here.
I'm a high school choir director from California.
All right.
So I'm preparing singers all the time. Do you have any advice for the future singers of America?
Well, wow. Man, that's a beautiful place to be in. And you said high school choir? You know, that's my favorite. That was, even being in the industry, like, to me, music doesn't get the care that it gets when you're in high school or in a church choir or something like that. That's when it, embrace this time, I would tell them. You know, learn as much as you can while you're there in high school and have a teacher like you, because you're not gonna get that later down the line in the industry. So it's best to get as much knowledge on the music or whatever your background is that you possibly can. That's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you. Just have one over here. So this is Eartha, one of our top 50 Barkey teacher ambassadors for this year.
Oh.
Thank you and good afternoon. My question is, I come from a similar background to yourself, and so easily kids get discouraged from what the government tell them, school and family. I just want to know, when a child's not intrinsically motivated anymore, what as a community, what one thing as a community can we make sure that we keep as a value that we instill to make sure that our communities, if their families are not supporting them, if their schools are not supporting them, that we hold strong so that they can continue to believe that they can achieve?
Wow. Well, definitely, I say try to be the best example to them as possible. Because again, at least I come from the south side of Chicago, Inglewood area, and there isn't many examples. But all you need is one. You know, you may not think the bit you're doing is enough, but it is. It makes all the difference. So just continue to do that and be the best role model that you all can be to those children and those that are watching, because it will make a difference. And I think you guys should trust that more so than anything, you know, not thinking that it's not enough, because it really has a huge impact. Yeah,
Fantastic.
it makes a huge impact.
Okay, we'll have 2 more questions. Any other nearer the back?
Am I
Okay.
doing okay?
Lady in the yellow jacket.
So honored to meet you.
Thank you.
Please sing for us, please.
Yeah.
What should I sing for you? What can I sing quick? And when I'm in London, they make me sing Spotlight all the time. I don't know why this Dreamgirls thing comes to mind. I hope I start in the right key. Every man has his own special dream, and that dream's just about to come true. Life's not as bad as it may seem if you open your eyes to what's in front of you. That's all y'all gonna get. Thank you.
Great question from the lady in the yellow jacket. Very good. Okay. So we're going to take one more just from down the front here.
I think you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Great to know you. Great
No.
to listen to your voice.
We should have a
to know your
microphone so
spirit.
everyone can hear.
As I'm from Istanbul, many of the talented voices and people have passed away with tragic finals. So it's not only the talent or hard working or passion. It needs something more to end with a nice story. What does it take for that?
Okay, I missed the tip of her question. What was the
Sorry,
very
could
top?
you repeat?
Can I
The
repeat
very
it?
top, yes.
Yeah.
The top of your
The
question.
question?
The top, yes.
Oh, okay. Like, for example, with Whitney Houston or Maradona, they were talented, they were hardworking, but still couldn't make it, couldn't manage their, I don't know, maybe talents, maybe spirits, whatever. So what it takes to be a great talent, a big success story, an inspiring woman?
What does it take? Well, I think they were inspired women. And Madonna's still alive, by the way. Okay. I'm sorry, but she is. Well and kicking. Okay. But I understand Whitney Houston. Wow, that goes so much deeper. Because I often sit and think about those things. But at times, you have to look at people, although Whitney Houston is my idol to this day, right? But then at times, sometimes you have to look at people as the example of what to do and then what not to do. So in some areas, it's like, okay, well, Whitney did this and that didn't work out too well, so don't do that. And then some things, yes, that's amazing. You take what you want from it, you know? And not always, like, we're all human at the end of the day, you know? And you have to allow yourself to be human. And I sit and look at my peers all the time and say, now, let's not forget we're human beings first, you know? And I feel like having a base and a foundation makes all the difference, you know? And yeah. Okay.
So one last question, which is for me.
Okay.
What are we going to see next from Jennifer Hudson?
Goodness. Well, definitely more music. I'm getting ready to do the Aretha Franklin biopic. So look for that.
Oh, wow.
That's coming. Getting ready for that. I do the Voice as well, Voice US and Voice UK. So look at vote Team J Hud, UK Voice. Yeah. And the UK called me J Hud, and the US I know. And then the Voice on the US as well. I hope to, obviously do more work with my foundation, my sister and I. The more the merrier. If we can make it snowball and come outside of Chicago and, go beyond there, again, the more we can do, the better. What else can I tell you? But yeah, I love what I do, so I'm just grateful to be here.
Well, we're all here to support you. Thank you so much for
Thank
a
you.
wonderful conversation.
Thank you.